It took 80 years for Africa to host a FIFA World Cup for the first time, and the men's edition in 2010 proved to be a landmark moment that showcased the continent's capabilities. And now, 13 years later, the South African Football Association is determined to bring the women's football showpiece to Africa in another historic moment.
Ultimately, it's by hosting major events that accelerate competitiveness for continents that has been excluded, and we have been excluded. We made the case for women's football, men's football was successful, and it is the chance to give Africa women an opportunity to play on their own continent.
It will be incredible. You look at the spin-offs from the 2010 World Cup. You look at how the game has grown in South Africa. Can you imagine, the excitement of players now raising their hands, wanting to be part of the Banyana, playing a World Cup at home. I mean, we got tough opposition in trying to get it, but it's never been to the African continent, and maybe that will sway it our way, and hopefully I'm alive to see that.
The advisor to the CAF president, Patrice Motsepe, has been travelling extensively across the continent to garner support for the bid.
Danny has been working for FIFA for the longest of times. If you remember previous World Cups, he's been the CEO. Even here, when we hosted the 2010 World Cup, he's got the know-how on how to secure such events. I mean, it's promising. I don't think we will not get it this time around. You mentioned Patrice Motsepe's, the Infantino's relationship. I think they will come in handy in terms of us securing the event.
History beckons for the 2010 World Cup hosts, who need to make a compelling case to stave off the tough competition from the combined bids of Germany, Belgium and the Netherlands, while the USA and Mexico are also in the running with their joint bid, along with a standalone bid from Brazil, all of whom have until May 19th to confirm their involvement.
To be able to prove that we'll pull out, sell out stadiums is going to be a hard task. But obviously there are a lot of, pros in terms of winning this bid, in terms of pushing our women's football forward, and maybe even growing the game here in Africa as well, because we saw what the hype of 2010 did for us. We didn't take advantage of it, but maybe this is a second chance to learn from that.
The country that has granted the right to host the 2027 event will be announced at the FIFA Congress on May the 17th next year. And South Africa will rely heavily on their track record and the fact that Africa is yet to host the women's edition of the football showpiece. And considering the FIFA president's strong ties to the continent, his influence could well sway the thinking of ththose casting their votes next year. CS Du Plessis, CGTN, Johannesburg.